Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. We are. Works every time. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Penn State Innovation Hub ribbon cutting ceremony. My name is Rich Bundy, and I'm the Vice President for Development and Alumni Relations here at Penn State, and I'm delighted to be able to thank you all for being here. This is a great crowd. The Penn State Innovation Hub is a product of the very collaboration it was built to foster. The Invent Penn State initiative has brought together minds from across the Commonwealth united under a spirit of innovation. Many of those minds met in spaces like this before going on to launch products and businesses of their own. And if you ask any of them, I'm sure they'll tell you that they didn't get where they're at alone. They benefited from mentorship, from training, and funding, all provided free of charge and often thanks to the generous support of those who believe that Penn Staters can and will contribute to the public good. Like the companies that have come to life over the past several years, this new building is a testament to the strength of that we are spirit. Countless student entrepreneurs, faculty innovators, and local makers have provided pioneering ideas. And donors, volunteers, industry partners, and community leaders have provided the resources and expertise to help turn those ideas into reality. All the while, we've built on a great Penn State tradition of innovation for impact, and we've given our land-grant mission its own 21st century spin. So today, you'll hear from key players in this evolution and learn about the efforts that gave rise to a physical home for entrepreneurship and innovation at Penn State. And as you do, I'll hope you'll consider the philanthropic opportunities that still exist to enhance this space and nurture the minds that will walk its halls. We thank you for everything you have already contributed to this process and that you will contribute in the future. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker of the program, the 18th president of the Pennsylvania State University, Dr. Eric Barron.
Well, thank you. Wonderful to see all of you here today. When I walked in the door at Penn State, I was keenly interested in what it might mean to take the rich research at Penn State and make sure that it was easier to get it into the marketplace. And in particular, I was keenly interested in the fact that we have so many alums that are entrepreneurs, but their university didn't necessarily help them be successful. And it's time really to take all of these people with wonderful ideas and make sure that when they're out there in the world, they know Penn State helped them. Well, just over 5 years ago, we launched the idea for Invent Penn State. Some PowerPoint slides, a brief press release, some optimism, maybe cautious optimism. It was an ambitious idea to de-risk business and enable students and faculty and staff, and importantly, community members, to hit the ground running with their ideas and increase their chance of success. Now, Invent Penn State had some early supporters and some skeptics. I love the fact that Karen Wing looked at the Collegian, and the Daily Collegian dubbed it as Penn State's latest branding campaign, which sort of makes me feel like this sounds good if we say this, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything is actually going to happen. Well, I am not sure that even the most ardent supporters of Invent Penn State could have imagined that we were going to be sitting here today in this wonderful building, a spectacular new home for innovation. Certainly not something that we envisioned 5 years ago. As the old saying goes, timing, perseverance, and years of hard work make us look like an overnight success. This has been a huge amount of effort from a lot of people. Innovation is one of my favorite topics, and this building brings it to life. Its design, its functionality, and organization are truly innovative and will match the ambitions of all the people that come into this building and work here and create here. Its location in State College's Innovation District is intentional. It has symbolic value, practical value, and will make interdisciplinary entrepreneurship more accessible to the community. This has been the goal of the Happy Valley LaunchBox since its inception, and we've already seen some incredible outcomes. Last Friday, Hunter Swisher, who was one of the first student entrepreneurs to use the services at Happy Valley LaunchBox, spoke to the Board of Trustees, his second time, this time 5 years after he began at this LaunchBox. He said he was a plant guy who had an idea for a product, but no idea how to get it to the marketplace. He went to Happy Valley LaunchBox, and 5 years later, his company, Fuss Solutions, has grown to 20 employees, and it's raised $10.3 million in venture capital funding, and he's getting ready to take the product to international markets. Hunter's story is just one example of the ingenious power of partnership, which is the tagline behind Invent Penn State and behind this wonderful building. Happy Valley LaunchBox is one of 21 Penn State affiliated entrepreneurial spaces across the Commonwealth. 96% of all Pennsylvanians live within 30 miles of a LaunchBox or innovation hub developed by Penn State. Each reflects intentionally the unique characteristics of the communities they're in and the campus that it's associated with. But they all share a common vision to inspire, to advance innovation, to advance entrepreneurship, and to help transform great ideas into viable products and business opportunities. And it's working. Consider, Invent Penn State has assisted nearly 5,000 entrepreneurs and engaged more than 13,000 faculty, staff, students. It has helped launch 218 new companies, 464 new startup program graduates. It has led to 486 new internships and 302 jobs. It has attracted over $2 million in in-kind support and has leveraged close to $24 million in external funding. And I have to say, companies keep trying to steal the entrepreneurs in the midst of building their companies. And I think that's because they know these young men and women are capable of pivoting and capable of solving problems and capable of working in teams. That is exactly the type of employee that they would like to have. So I am incredibly proud of this work, which is a result of the efforts of many people. Among them were the supporters and philanthropists who helped us go from borrowed space to this building. I want to thank Jim Hone, our friend at PNC, Jack and Dossie White, and everyone who helped us raise so far $116.6 million of the $129 million goal for this current comprehensive campaign. This is truly an investment in our future. And so I hope everyone will please join me in saying thanks to all of the philanthropists and supporters that helped make this possible. Please. I also want to thank the team that made this possible, made Invent Penn State possible, especially James Delatre, absolutely wonderful, Lee Erickson, just fantastic person to have here as part of the LaunchBox staff. You know, there's one thing of, I suppose, of keeping the coffee pots full and making sure the folding chairs get put back into place, but these individuals do something incredibly important. They nurture the dreamers who come through the doors of the temporary space and will in the doors of this space. I have to say, as a president, it's one thing to say, I think we should go over there. It's another thing to see the people that are truly committed to this LaunchBox turn it into an absolutely spectacular success. So let's thank all of them for their hard work. Finally, I want to recognize the leadership of our research enterprise and our academic colleges and campuses. I always believed that based on Penn State's dominant research profile, we were underperforming when it came to getting our intellectual property to the marketplace. Our college deans, chancellors, faculty, staff members seized the opportunity for education and programming and incentives that now encourage entrepreneurship here. Let's give them a round of applause. I just want you to know from my viewpoint, I view this as a very special building because we build buildings for departments and classrooms in them and laboratories, and we do it for colleges and we do it for campuses. This is a building that serves everyone across the entire institution. And it is here that enables ideas to make it into the marketplace. It's here that people with creative ideas, I would say gifted individuals, have the opportunity to take their ideas to that next step. So important for the economic development. So I just want to say thank you. There's so many more thank yous to come. And so I just want to end this with my personal gratitude for all the people in this room that made this possible. I can't wait to see what the next 5 years, if this is the product of the first 5 years, I cannot wait to see what happens in the next 5. So thank you, and now it's my pleasure to turn this over to David Kleppinger, who serves as a vice chair of the Board of Trustees. David?
Thank you, President Barron, and good morning, everyone, on a beautiful, somewhat cold fall day, but it's great football weather for tomorrow. Last week, we actually had the privilege of holding our Board of Trustees meeting in this very building. The experience was both incredibly pleasant and productive. And with some of my fellow trustees here today, when was the last time we said after sitting in day-long meetings with 36 trustees that it was pleasant and productive? I'm honored to represent the Board of Trustees at this ceremony. My fellow trustees are seated in front here: Alvin DeLevy, Bill Oldsey, Steve Wagman. Hopefully I didn't miss any that might be in the gallery, or any of our emeriti trustees that may be with us today. But please be recognized if you are in the gallery somewhere. This ribbon cutting is of great importance to Penn State and, as President Barron said, the entire community surrounding it, because we're shaped by the buildings where we live and where we work. These buildings are beautifully designed. They're well-crafted spaces that will inspire the type of creative thinking that will serve our world needs now and in the future. I'm pleased that the Board of Trustees oversees the decisions that have enabled our campuses to enhance their facilities like this one and to create masterpieces in a building of such stature. It's one of the most rewarding parts of our work as trustees. We also realize the severe challenges of completing this type of project, particularly during a global pandemic. It was difficult enough to find a plumber or a groundskeeper in the last year and a half, let alone manage a project of this scale. How many of you had home improvement projects over the last year and a half and couldn't find the tradesmen necessary or the timeline that you wanted them to meet those needs? My wife Joanne and I have had many of those. And she runs the show in our house, and you wouldn't want to be a contractor with her on you. So congratulations to everyone who contributed to this effort, with our most profound appreciation to President Barron and Molly. His vision and leadership over the past 5 years on these types of projects has truly been unparalleled. Invent Penn State will be a major, if not the major, part of his legacy as our 18th president. Once again, please join me in thanking him on behalf of the countless individuals who will benefit from his efforts to promote economic development and student career successes for many, many years to come. I also wish to thank our government partners who are with us today. Please wave when I call your name. Unfortunately, Representative Glenn Thompson couldn't make it today, but I understand some of his staff is represented here. Could they just wave and be recognized in the back? Thank you. DCE Deputy Secretary Steve Diatori, who you'll be hearing from later in the program, is in the front row. State College Borough Mayor Ron Filippelli. Is Ron here? Ron, welcome. Ron and I had the joy of working together on the Next Gen Penn State Advisory Group in our search for President Barron's successor, which is a very difficult position to fill and very, very large shoes to fill, I might add. State College Borough Manager Tom Fontaine, right up front. Center County Commissioners Mark Higgins and Michael Pipe, also in the front. And all other Pennsylvania government staff in attendance, please join me in thanking them for their support for these projects to come to fruition. As Pennsylvania's land-grant university, we're partners in the Commonwealth's progress and education of the children of working families. I'm a product of one of those working families, and thank you for continuing your support that allow first-generation college students like me to have this type of a facility. Truly an incredible opportunity. This is a great day for Invent Penn State, State College, and the Happy Valley LaunchBox powered by PNC. It's a special treat for me to be here with my good friend Jim Holen. Jim and I have worked on many projects in the central Pennsylvania region together, and it's extra special for me to be here to share this celebration with Jim, who's a good friend of Joanne and mine and his family and our families. Thank you for sharing this wonderful celebration, and now I have the privilege of introducing Penn State Senior Vice President for Research, Laura Weiss.
That a little bit. Thank you, David, and thank you, Dr. Barron, for your leadership and your unwavering commitment to Invent Penn State and to Penn State's economic development mission during the past 6 years. As Senior Vice President for Research, I have the privilege of leading Penn State's research enterprise. I'm proud to say that we are steadfast in our commitment to not only advancing scholarly and scientific research, but also to embracing the entrepreneurship and economic spirit that moves innovations from within our university out to our communities. Just this week, on Tuesday, we learned that Penn State has been ranked number 21 out of 300 for undergraduate entrepreneurship studies in the Princeton Review. We are number 2 in Pennsylvania, and we are number 5 in the Northeast. This is pretty incredible. 2 years ago, we were not even ranked. Last year, we were number 36. Now, we are in the top 25. Thanks to everyone for helping make that happen for our community and for our students. Every day, Penn State researchers expand and explore the limits of scholarly and scientific knowledge, seeking to apply creative solutions to society's well-being, educating the next generation of leaders, and contributing to discoveries whose applications may not be known for many years or even decades. Our culture of interdisciplinary research allows us to tackle significant challenges that our world faces. Our universities have become the country's innovation centers, and this new Penn State Innovation Hub will make interdisciplinary research and innovation more readily accessible, while simultaneously growing entrepreneurship in a vibrant downtown community. The hub will intentionally cultivate interdisciplinary activities made possible by providing access to the newest prototyping equipment, the latest digital design technologies, and no-cost services and resources to boost our entrepreneurships along their journeys. These programs and services, coupled with a statewide infrastructure of the Penn State LaunchBox and Innovation Hub network, will permanently solidify our university's commitment to its land-grant mission by creating and deploying resources across campus communities to drive economic development, job careers, and student career success. One of the earliest success stories from Invent Penn State is I always mess this up, Tech, my apologies. Born out of research and supported with our commercialization process, Tech developed a formulation for indoor pest control to prevent and eliminate bed bugs. Their product, called Apprehend, has an environmentally safe, active ingredient that remains effective against bed bugs for 90 days and is the first of its kind. The company supports 73 jobs throughout the supply chain and generates nearly $2 million in economic impact. This is one of many examples of innovation born out of the university. These stories showcase that investment is a critical catalyst to the success of startups, ultimately creating jobs and reinvesting in our communities. Support for facilities and programs such as the Penn State Innovation Hub allow researchers and entrepreneurs to test, explore, make mistakes, and ultimately grow their ideas to where outside investors engage and propel their creations even further. Now, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank individuals who helped bring this building to life. During the past 2 years, construction for this newest innovation hub was made possible through the creative vision and tireless work of the building's architects, Kieran Timberlake of Philadelphia, our friends in the Office of Physical Plant, our general contractor, L.F. Driscoll, the multiple research staff involved in planning, and numerous consultants and subcontractors. Please stand and be recognized. This team delivered such an awe-inspiring and architecturally astounding building amidst a pandemic and global supply shortages. We truly applaud you. I would be remiss not to give special thanks to our new neighbors who were gracious and patient throughout this construction project. Thank you, George and Nina Waskob, here with us today. Please stand up. Come on, thank you. Come on. And Sherry Christensen at Sweet Tooth Bakery, who provided the delicious treats in your goodie bags. Is she here with us today? Stand up. Well, anyway, we'll still give her an applause. With that, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Jim Hohen, the Central Pennsylvania Regional President of PNC Bank. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. And thank you, Dr. Weiss, for your remarks and for your leadership. And certainly thank you, Dr. Barron, for your leadership and with the Invent Penn State initiative. And I'd be remiss if I really didn't bring attention once again to James and to Lee, who really, in terms of working with our budding entrepreneurs, have just done an amazing job. So thank you so much. PNC's relationship with Penn State's gone back decades. But when we had the idea, and I was talking with Kelly Altland, who works in the development group, about how we can mesh our missions together with PNC. Obviously, we're a bank, we're finance in terms of some of the initiatives. And Kelly and I talked about Invent Penn State, and it just clicked about, it is really good for all parties. Obviously, for the entrepreneurs to take advantage of the wonderful education, the research, and the young budding minds that are in this marketplace, and to keep them here. I don't know about you, but I'm a little sick about my kids going to California or going to Boston. We need to keep them here, and something like Invent Penn State is really going to work very, very much and very hard to keep our kids here and help grow the economy. At PNC, we make these investments, one, because yes, we are very philanthropic, but frankly, selfishly, it's really good for us. We need to have the economy continue to grow. And this entrepreneurial development and working across the disciplines of Penn State is a wonderful thing for the economic development and thriving economy of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. This whole marketplace, this growth, is something that we're going to keep on seeing. You hear the stats right now, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. It's building the culture, it's building the mechanism to help our commercialism and entrepreneurship grow as we move forward. One of our partnerships with Penn State, clearly it's because Penn State is intentional about fostering innovation and this culture of entrepreneurship. And I'm very confident that we've only just seen the beginning of what's going to happen here with the Innovation Hub and the growth of the Penn State students. So on behalf of PNC, we are delighted to partner with the group. We're delighted to have the inaugural sponsorship of the first LaunchBox, Happy Valley LaunchBox, powered by PNC. We're very happy to help promote Innovation Week and a lot of the other initiatives. And for those of you out there who have connections, please support your individual unique launch boxes in your area or any way that you can. This is going to help not only you, it's not only going to help the students, but it's going to help all of us in terms of the economic development and thriving of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So thank you so much for that. And speaking of the future, it is now my distinct honor to introduce a future leader and current Penn State College of Engineering senior who has capitalized on the resources available to her through this entrepreneurial ecosystem to form her very own startup. Please join me in welcoming Divya Rastagi.
Thank you, Jim, for that introduction. I am so happy to have this opportunity to share my amazing experience with the entrepreneurial ecosystem at Penn State. My name is Divya Rastagi. I'm a senior in College of Engineering, and I am the founder of Apoyo. Apoyo is an AI-powered clinical decision support tool for mental health providers, and we are bringing mental health care into the 21st century. We are empowering providers with AI to accelerate patient intake processes. Throughout my Penn State journey, I've participated in 2 international innovation challenges, taken part in Fast Track Accelerator program at the Happy Valley LaunchBox powered by PNC, and built Apoyo through the 2021 NITNI AI Challenge. Something that started out as just a problem statement written by a faculty and clinician has now grown into a startup with a passionate team of 8, a pilot customer, and a soft launch planned for 2022. My journey began in 2018 as an international student and freshman from India, trying to find a place where I would fit in. Little did I know that stumbling upon a study abroad fair in the Kunkel Lounge would literally change my life. In fall 2018, I met Dr. Ann Hoy at the booth for Engineering 310, a course on entrepreneurial leadership with an embedded study abroad program to Israel. I used to think that entrepreneurship was a skill you're born with. But from what I learned in the class that year, I realized it was about the mindset. The more you do, the better you get. Inspired by my time abroad, I joined my first venture, Vandra GMS, with 2 engineering seniors. We were determined to use our technical skills to help job seekers find opportunities in the pandemic of lost internships. So in summer 2020, we connected with LaunchBox to help cultivate our idea into an MVP. We then got selected for Fast Track Accelerator, which connected us with industry mentors and a direction that helped us acquire 100+ users. And of course, unlimited feedback from Lee and Ben. It's been 2 years since I first connected with LaunchBox, and I could not have achieved my successes without this great network. It was through this support that I was able to bring my dream of building in psychiatry to life. I am so excited for Penn State students and the community to use this new collaborative and innovative space, grow their ideas into impactful startups, and connect with people who will support and champion them the way my mentors have in my journey. No matter who you are, where you're from, what you know or what you don't know, if you have the burning desire to solve a problem or bring an idea to the world, I encourage you to talk to someone at this new awesome hub and make it into a reality. Thank you. I would now like to introduce the Deputy Secretary of Technology and Innovation at the Pennsylvania DCED, Steve Dietary. Steve?
Great. Thank you, Divya. So good morning, everybody, and thank you very much for having me here today. It is truly an honor to represent the Wolf administration at this event. My name is Steve Dietary, and I serve as the Deputy Secretary for Technology and Entrepreneurship at the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development, also known as DCED to probably most people in the room. On behalf of Governor Tom Wolf and DCED Secretary Dennis Davin, I am just so excited to be here today as part of the ribbon cutting for the Penn State Innovation Hub, which is right here in downtown State College. For those of you in the room that may know me, I hope you'll agree that I am very passionate about all things innovation and thinking outside of the box, and how that thinking will help continue to both build a legacy and a bright future for the Commonwealth and further its strength in the technology and innovation sectors. That past, present, and future relies in large part on the important and invaluable partnership that the Wolf administration has with President Barron and Penn State University. As we continue our work to expand upon Pennsylvania's technology-based economy and further our ability to compete in the global marketplace, events like today make that work all the more possible. An innovation hub like this serves as a critical resource for students, innovators, and the community as a whole. And I'm just going to touch on that word community briefly, as I think it is a pivotal word when discussing entrepreneurship and startups, and we've heard some of the reasons why already today. And with that, I'll refer to in 2019, the National Governors Association released a report on entrepreneurship in states. That's what it was called, entrepreneurship in states, that referred to a survey of entrepreneurs, asking them what was the most important thing to them. Well, some people may think capital or location and sort of things that would sort of come to mind. The top answer was, and I'll quote, "The local atmosphere and existence of startup networks are more important benefits to entrepreneurs than access to capital. In terms of reputation, a supportive business community is more important than the actual number of business successes and exits," end quote. I've always found that finding to be very revealing in a number of ways, and those ways are exemplified by the Invent Penn State program. In my time in this role as Deputy Secretary, I've had the privilege to visit several LaunchBoxes across the state and see firsthand how impactful this program really is. One needs to look no further than New Kensington and Erie to see how much positive change Penn State brings to its communities and entrepreneurs. I've also witnessed how the university leverages partnerships with industry, communities, and other Commonwealth-funded groups, such as the Ben Franklin Technology Partners and Small Business Development Centers, to ensure Pennsylvanians have all the tools necessary to succeed in their business dreams. In other words, to create and foster that supportive community that was referred to in that NGA report. All of this is to say that Penn State and their innovation efforts perfectly align with DCED's mission to encourage the shared prosperity of all Pennsylvanians and to help our communities and industries flourish. That's why, once again, I am thrilled to be here today on behalf of the Wolf administration, as we celebrate this new state-of-the-art facility that can connect aspiring entrepreneurs to the resources and support that they need in order to grow their ventures and businesses, and also to contribute to our growing technology and innovation economy for the Commonwealth that will lead to new, strong businesses and new opportunities for jobs and communities across this state. Once again, congratulations, President Barron and everyone in the Penn State community. We look forward to continuing our work together as we remain committed to growing the state's reputation as a technology and innovation epicenter. We're very excited to see how this community utilizes the space, what projects are developed, and what businesses will begin within these walls. And what comes out of this building may one day change the world. So, no pressure, Divya. So thank you very much, and I'm happy to turn things back over to Rich.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate the call back onto stage. Give me just a second. I have more comments, but they're not in the notebook. So we're wrapping up. It's time to conclude today's celebration, but I hope, having heard from our speakers, that you've noted the breadth and depth of the network that breathes life into Invent Penn State, and which has made this new building possible. I also hope you'll leave with an appreciation for the collaboration that makes it happen. We've heard a lot about that this morning. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't pause for just a moment to say, I hope that maybe you're also thinking about how you can make a difference. And if you are, there are outstanding opportunities for supporters to continue to partner with the university to drive economic development and student career success through our economic development matching program. As part of the current fundraising campaign that the president mentioned, Penn State is advancing efforts to make the Invent Penn State initiative permanent and to keep the doors of LaunchBoxes and innovation hubs like this across the Commonwealth open for programs that accelerate great ideas to the marketplace. The Economic Development Matching Program provides a one-to-one match for endowment-level gifts to Invent Penn State programs that promote economic development through new business and job creation, such as pitch competitions, mentor and residence programs, and efforts that support entrepreneurial activities. Gifts of this kind to the Penn State Innovation Hub may also qualify for naming opportunities of innovation spaces, equipment, and programs, like the Happy Valley LaunchBox powered by PNC. The match is only open until June 30th, 2020, or until the funds are exhausted, so don't wait. Whatever happens first is the end of the matching program. And if you'd like to learn more about the Economic Development Matching Program, you can contact my colleague Heather Winfield, who is Director of Strategic Initiatives. Heather's business card is in the swag bag you're going to receive today. And regardless of how you have been involved or will be involved, we hope that you'll consider ways to stay connected to this new space, either through co-working on site, mentoring students who come for support, or helping to establish a new program within these walls. So thank you again for joining us today, and thank you for your continued support of Penn State and the communities we serve. Okay, at this time, we're going to take a few minutes to get set up for our ribbon cutting, which I think involves moving some chairs and moving some people. You all stay there. It's these folks that are going to move. Once we get ready for the actual ribbon cutting, though, I want you to pay special attention to the scissors, which I see lingering over here. These are not your typical oversized office supplies. The handles for these scissors were 3D printed by one of our program managers, Derek Gross. Let's give Derek a hand. I love this line in my script. Maybe we can count this as one of the first many shiny new tools to pass through these halls. So after the ribbon cutting, we invite you to stick around for a tour of the building. If it interests you, you can meet over at the registration table immediately following the ribbon cutting. So I'm not sure who's now going to engineer the people and chairs and things. Okay. So stick around for this ribbon cutting, and then when we're done, thank you again for being here. We wish you safe travels home and a wonderful weekend ahead, and a happy Thanksgiving.